Our first award winner here is 450 North Harris Street, the winner for this year in Outstanding Rehabilitation. As you can see here in the description, when Francis Hensley and Jim Oakey purchased this former residence of artist Jeremy Ayers, they knew they wanted to honor his legacy while also downsizing to age in place. Historic features were retained when possible, while updating HVAC and electric to modern standards, restoring windows, rebuilding the porch, and adding a sensitive master suite addition to the rear of the home. The result is a thorough updating that retains the home historic charm. So the recipient for this award is Jim Oakey and Francis Hensley, along with John McLeod, contractor and Arcolab architect. As a fun fact, mid-construction, they discovered half of the house had floor joists running the opposite of how they should. So we're glad that this thing is still in place and able to be preserved.
Jim and Francis, there you are.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, good evening. We're so glad you could be with us tonight.
Thank you.
So Jim and Francis are the homeowners at 450 North Harris Street. They're the ones that had the, well, what would be the term? Vision or madness? Which would it be to take on this particular project? We'll delve into that a little bit. But I also want to go ahead and introduce the architect, Lori Bork, with Arcolab. Lori, are you there? There she is.
Thanks, David.
Hey, Lori. So nice to have you here tonight. We appreciate you spending time with us. And then last but not least, I want to introduce the contractor, John McLeod.
Hello.
There he is. Hey, John.
I'm in and out here, but I'll try to stay.
Okay. Well, just bear with us, and we'll see if we can get through all of this. Okay. So a very exciting project on North Harris Street. I was particularly interested, by the way, before we delve into your project and all that you went through. But I was very interested to learn, because I did not know this, that it was Jeremy Ayers' home.
Yeah.
And Jeremy is a very significant artist in our community. And I knew of Jim, but I didn't know him personally. But I was very interested to learn that this was his home for, I guess, many, many years. And so you've got sort of an interesting added historical significance to your house, I'd say. Okay, so Jim and Francis, obviously this is not your first rodeo. You must have renovated a house before. Is that true or not?
No,
Yeah, well, we did. We renovated we lived in the Boulevard neighborhood previously, and we did some renovation work, but not like we did on this house.
Well, this was pretty extensive. Well, one of the things that I remembered reading about was that you had a list of criteria, but it wasn't a very long list. But one of those was that you wanted to be near the Boulevard area, because apparently you lived there for many years. Is that right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to be close to downtown in a walkable neighborhood,
And a one
all
story.
on one floor.
Do what?
All on one
All
floor.
on one floor. Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, that's great. So how long did you search to find this house?
Oh, it was quite a few months that we looked around,
Yeah.
looked at a variety of places, and could just never find anything that sort of hit all the points that we thought were necessary. So when this became available, it took us about 24 hours, and we said yes.
A whole 24 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
We saw the house, and then I called Lori and I said, would you please come and look at this house with us and let us know whether we're crazy or not? And so she and Joe came the next day.
Okay. And can you tell us while you're live on this cast what they actually said? They obviously told you to go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Lori said we can do things with this house, and we believed her and never doubted it. So
Well, one of the things I want to say is that it says a whole lot by the fact that the homeowners and the architect and the contractor are all together still speaking. I think that says a whole lot. Just
Indeed,
just
we are.
saying. I may have been down that road once or twice. So, well, I think it's very exciting that y'all took this project on, and it was a very extensive renovation, because I see that you pretty much took this house back to its studs predominantly, and so Lori, I think it's great that they brought you on right in the beginning. They obviously have a great deal of faith and trust in you and wanted you to see the house. Had y'all worked together before on anything else? You just knew of Lori?
Yes, we had met at on another project that Lori had been involved in, and you were from the community and the work she'd done, especially in Pulaski area. Yeah, so, but had met her socially, so, and from this other project that she had been involved in.
Great. Okay. So Lori, you saw the house. You obviously were pretty excited about it for them and thought that it had a lot of possibilities. The location was good. It met the criteria of being on one level, and it was close to Boulevard. So that's all great. So what was your first interaction with them once everybody decided that this was the house?
I think it started when we were on site the first time and just trying to reimagine the house while we were walking through it together on that first visit. What would we need to do? How bad was the plaster? What could we save? Did we need to take up the flooring? And then starting to reimagine how the rooms maybe could be slightly rearranged into a way that suited Jim and Frances and their needs. And we could see it was doable. So that was really the first step, is just, thinking, David, as an architect, thinking through that floor plan and also how we could celebrate what's on the site. I mean, the gardens that Jeremy left there on the north side of the house were still beautiful even at the time when we first visited the property. Although the house was in a state of real disrepair, the gardens were beautiful. And so we knew right away that would be a focus from the house, and how to arrange the public and important spaces around those gardens.
Great. So I saw that there was an addition that was done. So what was the addition? What were you trying to achieve with the addition, Frances?
Well, we were trying to do it all in the original floor footprint of the house, but there just wasn't enough space. There were no closets in the house. There just wasn't enough space. And we really wanted a totally accessible bathroom, and there was not enough space to put that in the original footprint of the house. So we started talking about adding on to the house, and we played around with a different couple of options, and this adding the master bedroom and bathroom and closet to the back of the house turned out to be the best solution.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, I think it's great. What I saw was a wonderful way to tie the two together without completely trying to mimic the house, but a nice addition. And so I really applaud you, Lori, on that work there. So John, when did you come into the picture?
When I was honored to be asked by Jim and Frances to take on this project, to work with them on this.
Okay, great. So Jim and Frances, you knew John's work?
Yeah, we knew of him. He had been highly recommended to us by, and
We did not know him, but we knew of him.
yeah, and he'd been highly recommended, and he was willing to take on, and he was enthusiastic even about taking on the project, which we appreciated.
I know John well, known him for many years, and I know that when he saw the house, he was probably very enthusiastic about getting it. He knows historic preservation. He lives historic preservation. So he's not easily daunted there, I don't think. So so John, what was the biggest challenge working on a house with this that needed that much love and care?
Well, we didn't realize how big the challenge was at first. I suspect it was fairly big, but the more we uncovered, the more we realized, you know, what a challenge it was really going to be. Luckily, I got to work for the first time with Lori, and with her expert guidance and design work. And I have to say, she really did do some things with this house to transform it the way that it has been. She respected the original footprint and elements of the house while introducing some more modern elements too. So
Yeah.
that made it a lot of fun.
Well,
We really did take it all the way down to the studs, most of which were out of plumb. And then the
gee, what a
floor
surprise.
system, the floor system was seriously out of level and had sags and had some rot and water damage. And so we not only went down to the subfloor, but literally all the way down to the ground and reframed the floor system. But there really wasn't a choice. I mean, when you uncover things like this, you just have to deal with it.
Yeah, well, there's no question about that. So, how long did y'all work on this house? Okay, so Lori, how long were you engaged early on before we got to a point where John could be brought in?
You know, that's a good question. I'd say we were in design. What do you think, Francis and Jim? Maybe 6 months or so of design work, maybe a little less than that.
Yeah, we went to the Historic Preservation Commission like September, October, with pretty much the final design, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. And
we bought the house in May, and we went to Historic Preservation with plans. And is that right?
Well, I don't remember the month that we did that.
Yeah.
And
so,
we brought John on early too in the process so that he could help advise on some pricing before we even completed the design work, so we could make some, educated decisions. And that's something we generally try to do. And that was very helpful.
I wonder if we could see some pictures of the exterior of the house for our audience so they can get an appreciation of what was involved there. Probably we'll be looking at some before and after pictures. So it looks like you really had a challenge there. There you go. Okay, well,
yeah,
you didn't have much paint to scrape off. Oh, yeah, well, that is definitely a work in progress. So you had to cut back a few weeds.
Yeah.
But it turns out that it was really quite lovely. Okay, so we're looking at the side of the house, I think now.
On the north side of the house.
Okay, all right. Is that was the back? Okay, here we are, some interior pictures.
That's a fireplace surround that we salvaged and reused in another room.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but it was part of the original house?
It was, yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Hey, John, when you said you took it down to the studs, you meant it. There you go. Oh, okay. This is lovely.
Paul Pringle did the custom cabinetry in the kitchen, and it turned out beautifully. All the heart pine work, and Franklin from our office, Franklin Frost, did the steel work on the doors, on the glass doors.
Wow.
It's really a labor of craftsmanship, and John's crews were fantastic as well. Just the level of care and attention.
Well, it's quite stunning. Quite stunning. Well, Francis and Jim, I know you are delighted to be in your home, and I understand this will be your forever home.
That's the hope.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
We waited a long time for it. It was probably about 1.5 years we were under construction, something like that.
Well, I know you thought that that was never going to end, but now that you've got it, it was worth every effort and time that it was put into it. So it's beautiful. It's
Thank
really
you.
beautiful.
We had a wonderful group of people to work with.
You did. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Well, thank y'all so much. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and thank you for sharing your time and your story about this house. And Francis and Jim, I look forward to calling you and coming by and seeing it myself in person.
Okay,
Good.
we'll
That
do
would be
that.
good.
All right.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Lori. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Thank you, David.
Appreciate it very much.
All right, good night.
Good night.